Hey everyone, thought I'd make a quick little video of my Mega Drive test setup. Basic 120 volt Variac, hooked up to a power strip with surge protection. Over here I have a Boss 800 watt power amplifier and a 12 volt DC 50 amp power supply. And over here I wound some transformers that step up the voltage from a 12 volt peak up to 200 volts. And then I have some 0.01 ohm sense resistors so I can measure the current, and they're set up in series so that I actually have two independent frequencies or phases that I can generate with a common center. I also can run them independently with the by separating the white and the green wires below and then putting the white wire here and the green one there. So then I would have two separate AC sources. And it is a 2-channel 400 watt power amplifier, left and right. I have my BNC connectors, which then connect up to my frequency source. So that's the input through the power stage to the amplifier and through the step-up transformers. And then the 200 volt AC is applied through either of these cables. They're in parallel, they're not separate. And then to the Mega Drive. And here's just, I have two of them. They don't work the same. They're built identical, but they don't work the same. The structure is a copper main base with an aluminum end plate held on by screws with spring washers. It's all 632, I believe. And then these are 10 PZT Steiner and Martin 111 discs, but they are bigger than the ones that John Woodward uses, Professor Woodward. These are 50 millimeter discs, not the 25s or the 15s, whatever it is. And then they are wired, face to face positive, then face to face negative, face to face positive, with the last two being used as a transducer to give me an output signal of how much force is being exerted by the other 8. And then they're all bound together and grounded to the copper base plate, and then the high voltage ends are split so that I actually have, this is where that white wire comes in handy, is we have it split so that we have, I can power 4 of the discs from one phase transformer and 4 of the discs from the other phase transformer, so I can actually apply 2F frequency to one stack and 1 frequency, 1F, to the other stack, and force it without relying on the discs to provide that second harmonic. So with this, and I can also dial it in to cancel third harmonic if I wanted to. And that has worked very well theoretically, and I get the right looking waveforms on the oscilloscope, but I have not been able to show it exerts any force, although it does make a very loud 22 kilohertz audio signal, and I can hear that very well, even after 20 years of rock and roll. Anyway, this was a transducer scale that I tried to use to measure weight change, but it does not work. It's way too difficult to get the gain up and to for the amount of weight change I'm looking for, and so it became unusable. And so that's where I'm at, is I don't really have any way of measuring thrust from these devices. So, but the latest work from Jim Woodward and Paul March and Michelle Broyles has a plate, or a different kind of base plate, but I could do it with a plate. And then this is mounted on springs in a sled, they call it, or sledge. And it basically, when it thrusts, it compresses the springs. And so it's free to move back and forth on those springs. And so if I make a plate here and get those springs and then make a sled to hold it in, I could do the same thing. And so that's an idea for a future experiment. Anyway, everyone, have a happy Monday.